going to demonstrate is how to change out a kitchen faucet. I've set up an old sink that I took out of a rental house, and it's laying on 2 sawhorses, and I'm going to lift it up out of these sawhorses and show you what you got to do to take the hardware off and install new hardware. And I'm talking about the faucet itself. Keep in mind, when you do this at home, you're going to be laying underneath a countertop, underneath this sink, and you're going to be working in space about this wide, because you're going to be working between the sink here and the wall, which is only about that much space. So you're going to be limited on what you can do. You're going to have to do a lot with your hands in that space to get this hardware out of this hole. So if you're putting in a new sink, the recommendation is, for me, to put the hardware in the sink before you put the sink in the countertop. That way you know everything fits and does all that correctly and all that. Now I've got all that out of the way, let's talk about what you're going to have to do. This one is simple. I'm going to flip it over so you can see it on the camera real well, because we're not going to move the camera, we're just going to leave the camera there. On the bottom here, you have 2 bolts. That's what's holding in our faucet. So we have to take these 2 bolts off, and they're standard sizes. It's like a 9/16 bolt. Just break it loose, spin it out, and same thing on the other side. Break that one loose, spin it out. Once you get both of those bolts out, you can then begin to take the hose off. Of course, you will have already disconnected your water supply lines and cut them off before you ever start, and you should have a cutoff for those right there at the bottom of the sink, or at the bottom of the cabinet, inside the cabinet. So, going to do all that, and I'm going to stop right here, take all this off, and then we'll resume. Okay, I got the bolts out. Now, you're going to have to bend these pipes to be able to get everything out of this little hole. You're going to have to work it through, but remember, you're going to be working from under a kitchen sink. And the level of difficulty goes up when you're underneath a kitchen sink. Now, I got all that disconnected. Of course, our spray hose is still connected. Now, I can do a couple different things with the spray hose. I can cut it off if I don't want to. If I'm going to throw this away, I can just cut it off and pull it out and throw it away. If I'm going to use this maybe in some future application of some sort, then I can, of course, salvage the hose and use it. So I'm gonna remove this hose, and I'm going to show you how to reinstall your new one. Okay, so we got the hose off the sink, and now I want to show you the different hardware. Now, this is another old faucet that I took out of a rental house, another rental house on another location, and you're going to have two. This is a 2-handle type faucet, and it has, in the middle, it has a hookup for the hose. Notice how these legs here on each side has got a built-in faucet for each one and a hose that comes out the middle. Your standard for the sink is going to usually be 3 holes, just like this. Now, this is the older stuff. Check before you buy a new faucet to go in your sink to make sure that it'll match up and go in here. This will work in here with a hose. It's designed for a hose. Don't put it on without a hose. You can also go back with the one handle faucet, and remember it was set up just slightly different. This faucet is going to be, you're going to have a big plastic nut that goes on first. Then your water connection is going to attach to each one of these on the bottom. It's going to be a long plastic hose running down to your cutoff in the wall. Now, your other faucet, remember, it had everything going down through the middle. So it'd be the same thing. It goes down through the middle. You attach your 2 bolts on each side, and it's got plastic stuff falling off of it. It's all rusty. But everything feeds through the middle hole. The 2 bolts tighten up on each side to seal it and everything. And that's putting on a single handle faucet or a double handle faucet. And you just run your hose. When you take your hose off, your hose, you'll probably have a new piece of hardware that goes right here where the hose hole is. Nice, shiny, silver, gold, whatever the color is. Your hose will be unattached. Stick it down through the hole and attach it to your hardware, which will be in the middle. Now you're going to have, on the ones that you hook up for single handle with a ball valve, you're going to have a left and a right. Left, on your left side facing the faucet, is going to be, usually it's going to be hot. Right side is going to be cold. If you hook them up and you turn the handle and it doesn't work the right way, you have to reverse your hoses on the bottom. Just change them and that'll fix your problem. It's an easy fix. But just keep in mind, left is cold, right is hot, and you should be okay on that. But that's the basic fundamentals of how to do it. Just remember, when you're doing this, you're going to be laying down on the floor. You're going to have a very limited ability or a limited space to work in underneath that sink. And if you're putting in a new installation, put your hardware on the sink before you put the sink in the countertop. Because once you put the sink in the countertop, that's a lot of work you've done to try to, to have a mistake or something. So hopefully that'll help if you're installing a new faucet in your kitchen sink.